Where did they go? Mhm. Darn. It's okay. Maybe she just
Well, is your zoom along the bottom? What's that? Click on that.
did.
Right there, Oliver. Boom.
I know, but
Double click on it.
we're back. Mhm. Mhm.
You plugged in.
Ooh.
Watch before it.
Mhm. Mm.
Hear us, Donna?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we're glad to see you home again.
Yeah,
I don't need
another
to stay home, but I'm glad that you're not in the hospital and you're home again.
another journey, but thank you. Thank you for that. Mhm.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order and ask if there's a disclosure of interest. As there is none, we have an adoption of the agenda. It's been moved and seconded that we accept the agenda as presented. Is there any additions that any person would like to add? No, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have is the approval of the minutes of the public meeting held on October the 8th. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the minutes of the council meeting held on October the 8th. We have the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Was there any discussion on either the public meeting minutes or the council meeting minutes? Councillor Viss?
Do we have an update at all on the usurper's declaration of the museum at all? They had that sale. We have an update at all on that, how that went?
Yes, I have an update. They did have the sale and the small items, they gained about $2,100 selling that stuff. And I'd have to ask the treasurer, maybe he has some information about the sale of the sealed bid items.
Through the sale of the seal bid items, they gained approximately $1,900.
That's right. Okay. Any other discussion on those minutes? No? Okay. Next item we had is ZBLA 10/2024. This is zoning bylaw in regards to Charles Drzecki. We had this before us last meeting, but there was some missing information from the lawyer. But we now have that information, so we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded, authorizing the passing of this bylaw or this resolution for the bylaw that will be coming forward later. Any discussion? It's been moved and seconded. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I wasn't sure if you could see my hand. I was wondering, so it does not make any difference that the residents that will be added to this property is larger than what we had approved with regard to the passing of the bylaw for secondary units on properties, bylaw 51 of 2024. It's my understanding that at the last meeting, when I brought this up, I was told that it was okay. The building inspector had looked at the residents, and they're right now it's 86 feet larger than is allowed. Apparently that it wasn't habitable, but are we going to be setting precedents that any secondary units that are put on properties that are larger than the bylaw allows, are we still going to be able to continue to let these people, or does this then have to have a zoning amendment to allow for a larger unit?
It's not precedent setting, it's from the building code. Any ceilings that are lower than, I believe, 7 feet or 6 feet, I'm not sure exactly. It's not considered to be livable space. We only consider square footage to be livable space.
So if he did a renovation on that, would that then allow for it to be larger?
To lift the ceiling, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Well, but when he applied for that, we could deny it through the building
Okay,
department.
okay, I'll leave it with you. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a resolution that's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have a response on page 31, a response to Paul Wilson in regards to the application or deputation by Amy Breton for Paul Wilson. We have a report in front of us. There is no resolution at this time. Any discussion on this? This was the one on River Road, I believe. Councillor Viss?
I guess just a question, it's for information purposes only. And when you read the very last paragraph, it tells you that we can't support that because of all the different scenarios. So what's the end of the result here? We're gonna say no to the people? Have we notified them and say, because of all these reasons, we can't accept your application? Is that where we at?
That I have not, I mean, I've discussed with them that this report was being prepared for you, but it would be direction from council to send this information to them as your decision.
So then this is not for information only, this is for decision making for us then? Is that
Not a
correct?
resolution to be passed, though. There is no resolution.
Okay, but a direction, isn't that what I'm just hearing?
I would need direction to send it to them,
That's
yes.
my point, Mayor Lucy. So I guess my point then is, it is well documented here, say that we can't accept it
That's
on
right.
the basis that's all spelled out here from the planning department. So that would be my opinion. I don't know where anybody else is at, but if she's looking for direction, then we need to give her that direction today.
Okay, so we have a notice of direct, or that's going to be resolution. We do have a resolution that will be gone through today. Any other comments in regards to this application? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Would the notice of direction not come from the CAO? And from what I understand, these people are continuing to work on that land. So I realize it's up to them to ensure they're compliant before they start something. But it would be unfortunate if a lot of cost was expended to this property that maybe the sooner we let them know, the better.
I know that there's been entrances put in, but those are approved entrances, I believe. Are they not? Yes, those entrances are approved. People can continue to do that,
Mhm.
build an entrance. So,
Okay.
yeah, I realize I watch them. I drive past there every day. Yeah, once a permit is approved for an entrance, you're allowed to build the entrance. Do you have something written there?
Yes, I do.
please?
That with respect to report 2024.202, we recommend that the owner be advised the proposal is not acceptable as outlined in the report, be approved.
Okay. Any mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Peacock?
I guess I can't sign it, so.
No, no, sorry, but we have two signatures here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion that's been moved and seconded that will not allow this on that property. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have is the budget variance report as of September the 30th. We have it as separately distributed to us, so it's open for discussion. This is the actual expenditures as of September the 30th. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. As I received this report, the document that I had, the pages were not collated properly. So that meant that none of the report findings as far as the reasons for variances matched anything that I had received, nor were the page numbers correct. I do have some concerns. I spoke to Wayne earlier in the week, and he said that I should direct my questions directly to John. So once I'm more mobile, I would like to discuss this further. It was my understanding that I have asked a number of times with regard to the NOHFC projects, where we are with those, with the funding, etc. There just seems to be so much missing from the information that we received. It's unfortunate that the budget was passed, and by the end of September, we had over 83 funding changes for the 2024 or 2020, the 2024 budget. So I think that this really needs to be gone through with a fine tooth comb. I don't know if anybody else had the same issue with regard to the collating of the pages, or if anyone had an opportunity to look through it, but that with the fuel not being distributed, with the capital projects not being distributed, will we be getting an update on the asset management and where we are with our projects and equipment prior to the beginning of our budget sessions? Because there just seems to be too much missing from the figures that I had been provided. So thank you.
Okay. First of all, Donna, what Councillor Peacock, I do not look at the page number. I look at the account number. And if you look at the account number, then they're in order. So,
Mine weren't as far as being collated. So anyways,
yeah, pages may not be, but the numbers do continue on, and just look at the account number. And you'll
Yes, I
find the entry
understand.
right away. Any comment from our treasurer?
Yeah, I guess I will apologize for the changes in page numbers. I think the printout that you guys received was done on two-sided, and that 2 to 2, so that changed the page number from the original draft. So I apologize for that. I guess what I'll do in the future is I will put page numbers on the bottom of each page.
Mhm.
And so if there is a back blank, then they will stay matching the
Right.
sheet.
Perfect.
And then as far as the allocation for capital projects and stuff go, that's traditionally done at the end of the season when, the total aggregates are known and the total, surface treatments and that are known. And then they're assigned to the different individual projects.
Right. So those are done at the end of the
Yeah,
year, business
so it is possible that since the season is wrapping up, that we will have that information for the budget preparation, so.
Yes. Councillor Peacock?
sorry, one other further question. With regard to the budget moving forward, will we be using the new Quantica program that we had provided with? It's my understanding it's going to be that much more in-depth as far as accounting numbers that are able to be used and things like that. So will that program be something that we'll be using to submit the upcoming budget?
We will have the new account structure in place. However, the update from Munisoft appears to have been delayed. So it does not appear that it's ready right now. So we're waiting for the Munisoft because Munisoft is our main accounting package, and Questica, it acts as an add-on to it. So there's no point in doing the work to add Questica to the old accounts and then repeat the work for the new accounts.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay. And now at all years, in all years, capital projects are not put in until the end of the year because you do not have all the figures for the different parts of the projects.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Did anyone have any questions on the budget or comments on any department, or we had all the variance notes in our budget? Oh, Councillor Biss?
Sure, I'll just make a comment that I didn't go through the details exactly what it is because it was spelled out here where over done. And, we definitely have a deficit over our budget, but because we made a number of changes during the course of the year, and I didn't pick them out except if you want to go through them and list them all, add them up.
Right.
But anyway, I think that was the reason why we have a deficit, because we made some changes during the course of the year that wasn't budgeted for. So yeah, I know we're in deficit about $900,000. That's a lot of money, but we'll see where we end up at the end of the year.
But we also have projects that we had planned to get out of reserves, and we don't do that until
That's
the end of
correct.
the year
Till the end
because
of the year.
we may not need that much money.
You're correct.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
so that's never done till the end of the year. Councillor Peacock?
Sorry, one other further question. Is the 2023 budget complete as far as audit purposes?
Is the budget complete as per audit?
What 2023 is, the budget is complete, yes? Or
Okay,
are
so
you
the audit-
asking for the financial statements?
Financial statements for the end of the year?
The financial statements will be, we're working with Grant Thornton to have them here for the November meeting to
Okay.
present financial statements.
It's very unfortunate that we used to get them in June and now we get them in November. It's very, very
Yeah.
sad place to be.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the third quarter report? No? Alrighty. We have now the agreement, insurance indemnification policy, municipal property use. We have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to approve this report by in regards to agreements, insurance indemnification policy. It's hard to say even. It's on page 37. So any comments or questions on this policy? Resolution has been moved and seconded. Councillor Viss?
Yes, on, no, this isn't, insurance has something to do, but it's in that same report. If you go to page 40, it says, currently in addition to opening and closing the hall for event, a caretaker will open and close once for preparation. Example, decoration for event. Renters are supposed to be charged for additional openings and closing, but have not been since there's nothing in bylaw, whatever number. My point is that don't our caretaker get paid by the month? And if they get paid by the month, already by the hourly rate, and then that I can understand where it's coming from, but I thought the caretakers are paid by the month. Is that, am I wrong?
I believe this means that if they have an extra day for decoration, they should be paying for the day, not the caretaker.
Well, all it states here just for the opening and closing.
It has to do with if the caretaker is summoned to open the place up for additional decoration. How it works in the agreement is you get it open and closed for your event, and you get it open and closed once to do your preparation. If you want extra, right now we do it, but we never charge people for it. So the idea is that they should be charged. And our caretaker, Chris will be able to elaborate on that. I think they all work on an hourly basis, the ones that do the opening and closing,
No.
or maybe not.
Through the chair, both caretakers at both halls are semi-monthly paid.
See, that's my point.
But
That was
it's-
my point, you see, so I mean, so they have, okay, yeah, let's use an example, say the senior tea. The people come in the day before and get things all set up, and they have to open and close it, and then the next day we have their senior tea. Now, I know that's free, but just an example. So now if somebody has a wedding and they want to come in the day before to do a bit of decoration, we're gonna charge them now because opening and closing the door because the wedding's the next day if there's nothing in the hall. I think we're nitpicking on something that we don't really, when they're paid semi-annual anyway, open the door for these people. I mean, where are we gonna go with this?
So through the chair, the opening and closing is covered off by the caretaker and two per thing. What happens is we get a call at 9 o'clock in the morning that somebody wants in. It's not the caretaker responding, it's community services workers that are gonna go open up the door, let them in. So there is an hourly charge.
Mhm.
There should be. And as Wayne has said, we don't charge for it currently, but it is adopted and it's always been worded there. We've never done it.
just never done it. And what's also been happening in the past is, for example, someone is having a wedding there on Saturday, and then they come there on Friday, and they're upset because there's another event there. Well, they never booked the Friday. So our caretakers or our roads department people are going there later in the day, trying to clean up real, like get the doors open and everything so the other people can decorate. They have to book both days if they're going to need a day to decorate. Yes.
Yes, and that's what I said. You didn't hear me very clearly. I said, if there's nothing going on in the hall, what's the problem with them getting it? If it's booked, of course, we can't have them going in there. There's no argument.
That's
I didn't say that. I just said if the hall happens to be open, why can't they just come in? I'll quit at that.
Okay, any further questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Donna, Council Peacock?
Thank you. How will this now then affect rentals at the Heritage Park as well as the library when they use our facilities? Will their rental fees or users be under the same umbrella?
Yes, The library will have to pay insurance just like any other user. But with the library, they are never charged, and that will just be an extra contribution of the municipality to the library operation. And at the OPHP, what's going on there is the users there will also have to have insurance. And we actually implemented that this year for some of the events like the Quilter event.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the users will all have to have insurance. It'll fall to all of them. And, but with the library, again, they're not charged for all the programming they do, and the insurance will also be not charged to the library's events.
I noticed that on a website, there was advertising from the Murillo Hall with regard to a company that does kind of party type of events. And they had bouncy castles set up in the Murillo Hall as kind of showing the availability of what they have for rentals. So perhaps we could just remind that company that should they choose to use the Murillo Hall or have the Murillo Hall booked for an event, we don't allow the bouncy castles. I do have a concern that what's going to happen now is that we're just not going to have, the halls aren't going to be near as busy. That is my concern, because it is a community hall, and it's just going to cost more for the renters to use it. I'm not sure if these type of insurance requirements are going to be something that say the Rural 60 or the Legion, places where people rent, are they going to also be involved in a insurance, or do they already have that in existence with their rental agreements? I know it's not up to us, but just the same.
Yeah, I wanted to comment that the policy to have the insurance was already approved.
Yes.
What I want to mention is the estimated cost based on the previous year usage is to the users is $5,700. So there's an example in the letter that we sent to the persons. If you're doing your something like the pickup hockey with 25 persons in a season, it'd be $190. So when you think of playing pickup hockey for a year, that's thousands of dollars. And then you have an insurance premium on top of that. It's not really that much of an additional cost to the users.
As it's
sorry.
indicated here, it says that a family celebration with up to 50 people using the hall for 3 hours would be $9. That's an insurance policy that will indemnify us from being charged or having to pay if something happens to someone at that hall.
Now, are we going further?
If you have a wedding, then if you look at, say, 200 people and you have for 6 hours, that's only cost you $240. So as long as people understand what we're passing here, because that's what, and will that still make our facilities rentable, or were they going to go somewhere else and the halls just go sit empty? Just a question.
Well, I do believe that you have the same thing at any city hall, and I know Conme has insurance that is charged as well. It's to protect the taxpayer. And we really do have to be careful now, because there's so many insurance charges of people getting hurt, or, and it comes right back to the municipality. And when it comes to a court case, they look at the municipality as having deep pockets, and we end up paying the total policy, even though we had nothing to do with the event other than renting them the hall. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun here, or if we are going as far as the forms for the rentals. Am I too far ahead, or?
No, go ahead. It's all one package.
Okay.
As long as it's not past 36, to 57, I'm sorry.
57, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so a couple of questions with regard to the page 46. I thought that I didn't think the Rosen Hall had a stage. I could be wrong. And the Murillo Hall used to have skirting on for the tables. I don't know if it is no longer available or located, but I just note that it says, Roslin is the only one that has skirting for the head table, but we used to have it in Murillo.
It's perhaps not
Um,
there anymore.
Pardon me?
It's perhaps that it's not there anymore. I'm sure
Yes.
administration would have checked that out before they made the policy.
And now the other question that I do have is on page 56. So that's the bylaw. It says gym rentals, Roslin Hall only. I'm not sure what the rate is that's charged for Zumba at the Murillo Hall. Are they $25 as well? An hour?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so shouldn't. It says Roslin Hall only, but it should be either, correct?
Well, Roslin Hall is basically a gymnasium, or used to be.
Yes, yeah.
For the school, and that, you wouldn't have that in Murillo. Murillo does not have, it's not set up as if it's a gym, and that's why it says gym rentals, which is at Roslin Hall only. So if they have any events that are in there, that's why it's noted as separate.
Now, this was an old bylaw that had resurfaced because it was many, many years ago that we had playgroup, which is indicated on page 57. The $250 charge annually, that was a very long time ago, and I don't think that that is necessary in this bylaw because it just doesn't happen anymore. And that used to happen in Roslin in particular. They had a group that would come in on Thursdays for playgroup in the morning. So my other question is page 57, bartending fees. It says bartenders shall be approved and provided by the municipality. It says up to 125 people in attendance is $200. But on page 46 of the guidelines that we provided to the residents of the bar information, it says how many bartenders are needed, 1 per 100 people. So it's either 125 or 100. Am I reading that incorrectly?
Per 100. So if you went to 200, you need 2. No matter what, one need to be, sorry.
It's indicating at 125 people, you need 1 bartender, and the other one you require 2 at 126 and more.
Yeah.
So, okay, this could, I mean, you could even take the 1 per 100, every 100 right out,
Yeah.
because it says on the rates, this is what
Yes.
it is. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't
Just
know if that will make
just
any
an
difference.
adjustment to that.
It'll be adjusted as per, you could note in here, it's just as per attendance or as per users, and then go back to the bylaw and see how many you have to pay for.
And if
Personally,
there's any,
I'm surprised that you're only allowed, that you only require 1 for 125 people. I think there should be 2 at all times, but that's what's on there. It's fine. Councillor Viss?
Yes, I have 2 further questions for clarification. If you go on page 50, do use a hall. Renters are to leave the hall in the same condition in which they found it. Does that mean they have to scrub the floor and wash the floor? Because that's how you found the hall in good shape. Does that need to be clarified? Because if that's what it states, then that's how you should find the hall. So I don't know, if I should,
Well,
just for clarification, because you get into an argument over something like that if you don't have it quite correct. Okay, that's one. Then the next one, if you go to page 54, and this talks about the rate. Team and team members must vacate the dressing rooms within 15 minutes of the ice rental. All right, where does the fight and walleyes fit in on that? When you have 15 to 20 players and they all shower after that, do they fall under this category? Are they outside of this category because they have their other one? It should that be clarified?
Through the chair, the Paul, I use their own dressing room. This is for the nighttime leaguers, basically on a walleye game night, we have out of town team in the visitors room. We don't chase them out of there after 15 minutes, and they're given two dressing rooms to shower. On the walleye game night, I would say the dressing rooms are empty within 40 minutes. But this is to keep the flow of the locker dressing rooms on a Saturday where we're back to back to back to back rentals with the little kids. Showering's not an issue with them, so it's just that 15-minute window was always put in there to get them out.
So the new team can move in.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I understand that, not, that's why I asked that question. Do we need to clarify a little bit on that? Is the visiting teams coming in, playing the junior A, that they're exempt? Something like, it's like, where do we get into if we get into an argument? How do we defend that?
Through the chair, this policy, ice rental agreement's been here since I've been here.
Yeah.
And the wording's been the same, and again, it's not an issue. It is a tool we may need at one point in time. There is postings in the dressing rooms that say out in half an hour, which supersedes. You know, we don't have any issues with chasing people out of 15 minutes. The flow of the Saturday daytime is where that came from, in my opinion.
Okay, anything else? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. One further question with regard to alcohol, food and alcohol on page 50. A special occasion permit is required for alcohol. If it's being served, it needs to be submitted to the municipality before the event. If not provided, the caretaker will not open the hall for the event. So just a suggestion that perhaps the municipal office has that special occasion permit from this renter even the week before or something, because what's going to happen? Somebody's going to fly in there on Saturday morning. Here's my liquor license, and yet the office isn't open. So the caretakers don't know that they don't have that permit. The hall isn't open. And I'm just thinking that we could end up, perhaps I'm exaggerating, but we could end up with some angry rentals.
Well, it says it needs to be submitted to the municipality before the event. Perhaps we have to be more specific.
Yes, please.
A minimum of 1 day before the event, so the municipal office knows, or
And
instead of
I
putting
would
the liability on the caretaker to determine if they have the if
I
they
would
have
say
that.
even a week in advance, because that way there's lead time and communication. If you're going to have an event with liquor, you're going to need to have applied for the permit long before the day before.
But when students have liquor, they need the bartender, so they'd all need to be notified, wouldn't they?
That's right.
So I think all that would have had to been in place before any of this happens anyways.
Because they would be asking for 1 or 2 bartenders, and they couldn't do that unless they have a license for the liquor license, so.
Through the chair, that's where this opening and closing comes. We deal with those rental agreements, rental situations where they're bringing the liquor in and the coolers are getting turned on the day before. So they can't get their liquor if they don't have a permit.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm.
So they can't
And
have their liquor, so it's okay. I think it's fine the way it's written.
And are we previously it was no liquor allowed in overnight? Are we still of that provision?
Well, I would believe that if you have a wedding or something coming up, the liquor would be in there the day before. There's no way they're gonna bring that in the day of.
That's how it used to be, that
Yeah.
that liquor was not to be in the hall overnight, same as you have to ensure that everything is out of there the day of the following once the event is over, everything has to be out. So I just have a concern if you've got liquor in the building overnight and somebody knows, are we opening ourselves up for an issue?
No, I think that's the way it's been running up to now, and I don't think we've ever had a break-in, somebody trying to steal the liquor in any of the halls, so. For the convenience of the renter, I think there shouldn't be a problem having it overnight. It's locked, everything's locked up. Anything else? No? Okay. Anything further from administration in regards to that resolution? Or there is no resolution?
Yes.
There's 2? I don't see them. I'm sorry, I don't see them in here. Okay. All right, there's 2. First resolution has been moved and seconded that we recommend that the rental hall policy be rescinded, which is the 2018. rental hall policy. So we have to rescind that one before we can approve the new one. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion in regards to rescinding the bylaw 13/2018 in regards to hall policy? All in favor? Opposed? It's been approved. And with respect to 2024 .203 report, this would be recommending the revisions by bylaw 05-2023 hall rental reports. Revisions to the 2023 rental hall fees. So this is just a revision to the 2023? Yes,
Yeah, just for clarification, it wasn't highlighted, but on page 57, that's the new stuff that we're talking about in the report itself. It's called other. So you see there, the additional opening and closing will be $50, resident or non-resident. The overstay, we've never had an issue with that, but we wanted to put that in there in the event that becomes a problem, $25 if you're just not out of there on time. And the cleaning fees and damages, there wasn't anything in there before, but we want to put that in there because we've had instances where persons have had an event like a shag and left an unreasonable mess, and we've had to clean it and we haven't been able to bill back. So that's what that's about. And damages is self-explanatory. If somebody, has a wild night and busts some tables or something or other, we want to get reimbursed.
so in other words, the actual cost, it'll be whatever it actually costs the municipality to repair or clean will be charged back. And that is in their contract when they sign it, so they know that that is a charge. Perfect. Councillor Peacock?
Just one further question with regard to alcohol. I know the bars in town are open at 2. Do we have any provision in here to say there's no alcohol after 1 a.m.?
It's whatever is it on a liquor license? I have no idea. I don't have a.
Through the chair, I believe the liquor license states 1 a.m. and I believe our licensed facilities state 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Okay.
And
Yeah.
again, I do have a concern with regard to leaving alcohol in overnight, but if nobody else does, that's
Okay.
the way it is.
So again, we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to approving the revisions that have been made to this bylaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have the tertiary septic systems in the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. We do have a report on that. Just an update of what has been happening in regards to that one subdivision and also to perhaps how it'll affect any future. Everybody's happy to see that. I know I am. Any comments? Councillor Campoff?
So, so what's this whole issue? Because it was my impression previously that they were just rejecting these tertiary systems, period.
No,
And now they're saying, oh, there was more details, that there's issues with it. So was it a misunderstanding on our part in how they were rejected, or did the story change in the intervening time here?
Through the chair, the position of the health unit and is still of the same opinion. The proponent that the report's based on spent more money to lobby and to prove that the science was correct. We don't see the local mom and pop operation fighting as much as this particular case. There was some money, dire money spent to get this one through.
Mhm.
It's still their position that they are not in favor of them globally, so to speak.
But they do have some of the business or whatever already have had them approved in the past.
That's correct. There is 3 that we know of have been installed in the municipality in various situations. But speaking to vendors that do this type of work, they are still struggling to get them globally.
Okay. So this is good news for the one developer and perhaps also for future developers. They can maybe use that information.
But I think the message in it is if you are able to show them, and again, it's a question of resources, that the tertiary system you're proposing fits in the OBC, the TBDHU can't trump the OBC.
That's right.
You win.
Okay. Alrighty. Next thing we have is the John Street Road, the establishing certain lands as highway and restrict access bylaws. We have the report and we do have two bylaws, I believe, two resolutions. Okay, so the first resolution has been moved and seconded, which is recommending the draft bylaw that's attached to the part establishing parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 on Plan 55R 15301 as a highway. It's been moved and seconded. It's open for discussion. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And in respect, the second resolution is in respect to 2024.204, we recommend the draft bylaw attached to the report restricting access to parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 on Plan 55R-15301 be approved. Motion has been moved, a resolution have moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Viss.
Just for clarification on that, the resolution state restricted access to part 1, 2, and 3. If you go to the following page, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the lands will be on open road allowance. When we put this restricted area into this resolution, are we saying that's different than all our other unopened road allowance, or not going to treat this one the same as all other unopened roads? We're doing something different here than all our unopened roads, and yet it says the lands will be unopened road allowance, which we is standard now for all the unopened roads we have. So the restricted portion access is different on this portion of an open road than anywhere else in the municipality. So is that fair?
So your comment is this says restricting access
Well,
instead of unopened road allowance.
Right, it should be the same as all our unopened road. It's an unopened road. And then, then you don't change it from anything else because we have all these unopened roads and they're all, then this is treated the same as the other ones. That's the only comment I have.
This unopened road allowance that we're going to have is a dead end. So that's the rationale for having this in place, and it will, the only people that have a purpose going down there are the people that have property up in that area. So that's where it gets rid of the trespassing concerns. Some of the other, you can't call them unopened road allowances because there never is any road allowance. Some of the streets like Nicolette's or Bolter or something, we don't own any of the property up there. So if there's a lane up there and everything, we're kind of in a different situation. We don't own it. It's not an unopened road allowance.
But we will owe this.
We will own this. This will be similar to like a Boundary Drive that is unopened with the boundary there with Nebing and goes along there. We own that in conjunction with Nebing. It's an actual surveyed unopened road allowance. So that's different than the end of Nicolette's, where you get past the property we own, and then it's, there's properties up there landlocked, but that the trail or whatever it is that might be there, we don't own it.
Councillor Viss.
Well, I agree and I don't agree. Simple reason is go to Bolter Road. The Conservation Authority comes and asks permission from our Director of Operation to go to their property because they own property and we allow them to go on the property. So that means it's our road. The next one on Nicolette, we talked about that. We have told those people that are interested, you can build your road up to the standard of the municipality. That means we own the road. So where are we at? This is not adding up in my books.
Comment? Any further comment or questions?
Donna.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. Just one other comment. Thank you, Councillor Viss, for that. But now that if this is passed, that it is an accepted into our road inventory, I guess, to a degree, will there be any further tax dollars spent to ensure that this road is accessible for the people who own property down there?
No. We will not make that road accessible to anyone. If they wish to walk to their property, they can walk through the trees.
right.
If they wish to make their property accessible to doing something, they would, I'm just saying this, if I'm incorrect, I can be corrected, they would have to bring that road up to our standards before they could get a building permit or do something on their property. But they could go to their property by walking. We are not going to do any work on that
That's right.
piece of land,
Right.
that road.
That's
Great,
correct.
thank you. Mhm.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, so we're deep in thought. We have a resolution. It's been moved and seconded to restrict access to parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means the property owner can still go there. And if he brings his buddy along, that's okay. But only those people are allowed access on that road to get to their property.
Well,
Yes.
if I may, Mayor Lucy, again, I come back to it. We're doing something different to this unopened road than all our other unopened roads. And I have a problem with just doing the one and not anyone else. So I have to vote against it if that restricted access stays in.
Okay. So any further comment? I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, it's been moved. Now we have a transfer of River Road allowance. There's a portion of River Road that's currently owned by the abutting property owner. And because there was a severance, it's now shown up that that property will have to be transferred to our municipality. We've had this before on River Road in a few locations where there's been a consent, and then we discover the River Road portion has not been transferred to the municipality yet. So we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to authorize that transfer. It's open for discussion as it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then our road tour of 2024, page 70 to 72. There's a report indicating all the things, the places we went, and as we discussed. If there's any comments on any of these, if we missed something or stated something incorrectly, it's open for discussion. There's no resolution. It's just Councillor Viss.
Yes, just one. It appears someone is living in a trailer at the end of Morrow on the West Road. Has that been looked into? Make sure that's not happening.
We are looking into that now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Councillor Camphoff?
So we visited a lot of roads that day, which was good. I know we did go down Luckens. I received a call from a resident of Luckens. Had a chat with the gentleman. He was concerned. I mean, according to this report, it says Luckens is gravel but in good shape. His opinion was quite different. So, which section of Luckens is ours and which section of Luckens is O'Connor's?
So through the chair, before we slow down to go into the corners is basically where our road starts. And
We've got the south end.
we've got the very south end of it.
Hill.
Yeah, and I think his house was somewhere right around the middle, so he's probably in our section, but I think his concern was more with the O'Connor section, which is unfortunate, but yeah. But is it ever going to be on the radar to being chip sealing our section?
Through the chair, as the road program talked about at the start of the bus tour, there's no expansion scheduled.
Yeah.
We're strictly in a maintenance program.
Thank you.
Councillor Calvert?
Just the observation of the Morello Village Network, not good. Is that in the asset plan at all for rehabilitation?
So through the chair, Murillo has had various types of activities done. The previous supervisor did a wrap road. We've done some paving and we've also done some chip sealing. It's kind of a mixed bag. We are seeing that our maintenance costs are going up on certain sections of that road. However, the surface treating section, which was done about 9 years ago, has held up well. So we're looking at that. Yes, rural roads are coming due. We did Baxendale last year, which was surface treated. And McLean is on the radar, not necessarily for 2025, but it is coming very soon. And that's one of those roads that was paved. So we've got chip sealing on either side of it. We're weighing those options right now currently. It is a narrow road platform, so there is lots of twisting and turning. So I'm leaning towards paving, not necessarily chip sealing on that particular section, whereas Baxendale is straight away and McGilvery is an artery, north-south artery. So it's on the radar. It's just nothing in 2025 is scheduled for the Merlot area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other further discussion on our road inspection? Okay. And then we have the Ontario Transit Investment Fund. This is something that has come from the province. We have a resolution that's been moved in second recommending referral of the Transit Investment Fund matter to the LRMC for further discussion. We will have our meeting in November. And it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the matter? Any comments or thoughts on this transit investment? Councillor Campbell?
I certainly can't speak with any knowledge about whether there's a need or not, because I don't know, but I wouldn't want to see good money go to a big investment on some kind of transit platform and then have it not get used. So I think we would have to tread very carefully. I think it's the nature of rural living is dependent on transportation, and if people are going to be depending on something like a transit system, that's a big jump from where we're at right now. So it's a big animal.
Any other thoughts? I will bring them to the LRMC. Wayne?
Well,
You
just
have
my
lots of
thought
thoughts.
that I placed in the report is, the cost factor of this kind of a day run system has got to be considered. And one of the elements in this MTO thing, they just completely ignore unorganized territories. So that's something that we face. If the municipal taxpayers are paying for this system and the unincorporated residents aren't, how do you deal with it?
Okay, and it was indicated to myself at a meeting that if we did do this kind of system, we would get gas tax money, which we apparently don't get now, but when I've called in the past, they said, yes, it's included in your OSIF. So are we getting it or not getting it? I don't know. But is that going to cover the cost of buying a bus, putting a driver on there or whatever kind of vehicle you're going to have, and perhaps starting economy and moving this way and then back again? Is that going to cover the cost?
Something I just wanted to highlight there, there's Owen Sound to Wyerton in Grey County costs you $3. If you want to go from Denarwick to Dryden, it costs you, $15, $18. And the people in Owen Sound are looking for more money out of the government because $3 is too low. So, that's what you're always looking at. And the people that these kinds of services are geared towards are people who don't have a lot of money. So if you start one up, people who are on there, they can't pay. If you try to get them to pay more, they won't be on it. Or the other option is just for the municipalities to shovel more money into it.
Right.
So that's the issue that's here, eh?
It is something to mull over. Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. And again, it's one of those things where you put a lot of effort into the corporate reports and you try to get the funding and have the program working. But if you haven't got any kind of background to say how many people would use this, or I mean, even ourselves, we know that it takes us, at least a half an hour to an hour sometimes to go from one end of our municipality to the other. I'm just not sure how we can possibly ensure that all our neighboring municipalities are also helping with the payment. And to me, it's just going to be too costly and if you start this program and it doesn't work, then you're going to get a backlash because people still want the program. So perhaps it's just best to leave it alone and not bother.
That sounds kind of a good idea, but we'll look at it. See what other people think of it. Yes. Well, one thought too is if you're gonna have it take one route, it's gonna drive, let's say, toward between Morello or wherever, people have to get a ride to get there.
Yes.
So if they have to get a ride to, let's say, catch the bus in Quebec or Conmy or Morello or wherever it is going, you're almost in town anyway, so I'm sure they can get a ride to town when they have to go. I'm not sure, but country, oh, okay. Yep, they'd have to stay overnight because that route is in the evening. Yes,
Just wanted to comment that there are some people out there that certainly could use public transit like
Mhm.
this, but the issue is how much do you want to pay for it? I recall someone from one of the city facilities asking about someone out here that needs to go to the hospital for day treatment and whether there's any public transit. And no, so there's kind of a need that
I'm
is
not,
unserved.
yeah, I'm not sure of the name of the program and maybe someone can tell me what it is, but I do know there are people that give their names or put their names in with this group. And if you need to go to a doctor's appointment, they will drive you there, keep themselves busy and bring you back home again. And those are private individuals. That's a Red Cross, or I'm not sure who does that, but there is some organization that, and they're local people that do it, people that live in the country, you know?
There, through the chair, there's a commercial interest that brings a resident out here every Tuesday to her son's place, and it's $26 each way.
So there are some options if somebody wants to pay. So I did have a call once that suggested that, don't bother picking me up, I'll just take a cab to your house, Lucy. I said, do you want to own the cab? We're not Toronto. So, all righty. The next item was the NOMA bylaw number 1.
Resolution transit.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was that it was a resolution. It was moved and seconded in regards to referring it to the LRMC for further discussion for the rural municipalities. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have bylaw number 1 from NOMA. It's just a report to inform us of their new bylaw. Was there, it's 17 pages long. Was there anything that was of interest or discussion on that bylaw? Yes, Councillor Vess.
Just a question on page 107, clarification. I thought this was interesting. Meeting of the directors may be called by the chair or any 2 directors at any time. Really?
That's their NOMA board.
Yeah, really? So if there's a difference of opinion somewhere, Dan and I may say, well, we better call a meeting tomorrow.
That's right.
I just thought, I picked up and I said, that's a strange way to put things. Usually the chair always calls the meeting. If we have an issue, we'd go to the chair, and in this case here, we'd go to the mayor, say, Mayor, we have an issue, can we have a meeting? And
It's usually administration that comes.
it doesn't matter at all. I just picked up on that. I thought that's a strange way to put that.
And as per the municipal act, I believe there has to be 24 hours notice. You can't just call a meeting for 3 o'clock this afternoon. I have-
Thank you. Just interesting, just a comment, that's all. I don't think we need to change anything. I just thought.
Well, it's their bylaw.
That's very interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, something that I don't see in here, and maybe someone else does, but I don't see the number of directors listed in there. So that's something that they should clarify how many people are elected as directors at each AGM.
Appointed. They're appointed.
Where?
Yeah, the different districts will have 2 and 1 elected, 1 administrative and 1 elected. So they're directors.
Whatever.
And they do have a list of the membership in the corporation shall consist of, and those are all the townships and municipalities that are involved in the NOMA. Just a question, because it has come up sometime in discussion. And I know we don't have anyone on the NOMA board at this time, but NOMA represents, they're the Northern Ontario Municipal Association, so they represent all of us supposedly. And when they have passed the resolution that's going to go to the province saying, we feel this has to happen, or that's not happening, or whatever it may be, why are they asking us to also pass the resolution? Because we are getting mail from NOMA saying, would you please pass a resolution such as this? We've sent it to the government. We would like you to, but you're representing us, so you've already done it. Because it's just adding the workload to the office here because they're getting all of these resolutions that we should be passing. It's just a question. If anybody ever talks to anyone on the NOMA board, maybe they can answer that, why we're duplicating this work, because they represent us. They're supposed to be representing what we feel on any topic up here in Northwestern Ontario or Northern Ontario. So just a question, if somebody ever speaks to someone on the board, they can ask. We may be bringing it up at the LRMC because I believe we have one person on the board there, so we'll ask them. Yeah.
We have to name someone for here per this new thing they passed.
No, Jim Vesna. Jim Vesna represents our area.
Oh, there's a new section in here now.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and Councillor Calvert's correct there. At the bottom of page 100, we do have to have somebody appointed by our council to be representing us as a member at the AGM. And the
Yeah.
CAO or CEO of the NOMA, in her thing said it's important that they're available. And we don't know when this thing is happening in 2025. So we may want to wait till we know when it is, the 2025 AGM, and then we can see who here is available to go and vote for us.
Yeah, and it says notification of nominations must be received by the executive director no later than March 31st.
Yeah.
Because their annual meeting is April 2025. So that means we have to do something before March 31st. Okay,
But we need them to tell us when the meeting is, so we know that we don't appoint someone who's going on a vacation that day.
yes.
Hmm.
That's right. Yeah, and we could do it in the spring. As I said, they have to know by March 31st, so.
True.
But their AGM is during the NOMA conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's at the end of April. I know it's the last week of April, I believe.
That's all.
Okay, it's usually the location changes, but the dates are about the same every year. Okay. Any further discussion on that? No. Okay, now we have reports of committees. We have the library minutes and their second and third quarter statistical reports for information. We have the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, their minutes, and the District Thunder Bay Social Services Administration Board, their minutes. Was there anything to comment on any of those reports? No. Okay, so we go to 146. We have our bylaws. The first one is a zoning bylaw amendment for Charles Drzecki. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have established certain lands as a highway. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Restricting access to a portion of John Street Road West. It's been moved and seconded, this bylaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Murillo and Roslyn Community Hall rental fees. We have a bylaw. It's been moved and seconded. Is it open for further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And rescinding bylaw 13/2018 for the hall rental policy, which is the older one. This bylaw has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? carried. And the bylaw in regards to the road allowance on River Road. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed, carried. Sorry, I forgot to ask if there's any further discussion on that one. Okay. Now we have the Ontario Deposit Return Program on page 155. These are our action items. Are you interested in that coming back to us as a resolution in a future meeting? Councillor Viss?
I think, Mayor Lucy, it's not a bad idea if they put a deposit on all those cans. When you look at all what's our landfill sites, if there's a 10% deposit, you're not gonna eliminate them all, but you may save us a bunch of it over there. So maybe we should support that.
Yeah, these are non-alcoholic
Yeah,
beverages. Like
so-
now you can take the alcoholic beverage cans.
Yes, and you could take them
Yes.
back but our bin is right full of pop cans and all that
Yeah.
stuff all the time. So I mean, if we can save half of it, why not? I mean, it doesn't
right.
cost us to support this.
Okay, so
Opinion.
that can come back to our next meeting then, and the involuntary care, severe mental health and addiction issues. Was there an interest in responding or passing that by, that resolution? It's a tough one. Yes. And the NOMA board meeting, September the 25th, there was an email in regards to the board meeting summary and all these letters of support, et cetera. So this was for our information. And B is continued funding support for the Southwest Community Transit. Oh, sorry, yes,
With regard to the one there, letters of support is something that we don't want to do, but we're going to draw your attention to that ONTC thing. That is something that is, I think that NOMA's doing properly, that they should be expanding the busing around here.
so was there a resolution with that or a letter of support?
No, like we talked about earlier, we'll ask the Jim Vesna
Why they want a letter of support when they
Yeah,
passed it
when
already?
they are representing us.
Yes. Okay. It's for in November. Okay, the continuing funding support of the Southwest Community Transit System. I don't think that applies to us. And the transport and deposition of naturally occurring radioactive material. And this is from the town of Naird and Hyman. This is the Agnew Lake. I don't think it's. Yep. Okay. The update from the board, the DSAB newsletter indicating that they have a new CAO. I did go to the retirement party for Bill Bradica, and their new CAO is Ken Ranta. It's been an internal move up. And the Thunder Bay District Municipal League elected official remuneration summary of 2024. So there we have we have it also on a large sheet if you wanted to look and see what the remuneration was across Northwestern Ontario. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to looking at the screen. Pardon me.
That's
Councillor
not a
Pico?
problem. Yes, I was just wondering if we had any idea when the population numbers were done, like what was the date of the census for the way the figures are on this report?
Yes, because as I noticed, it's 5,922 people. I do think that we're a little bit, I've been told over 6,000, but it may be what year they did it.
Yeah, the last census of 2021 was 6,022. So yeah, they've got maybe their 2016 numbers or something like that. 5922 is ringing a bell. That might have been our 2016 number.
We're growing.
We're growing, that's right. Yes, Councillor Viss.
Yes, I thought it was interesting, these numbers. I liked what I seen there from it. When you take our papoons, realize what it costs per resident? Not quite $3 per person for each councillor beyond that. We compare ourselves to Shunya many times. Better look at theirs. They cost $5 per person for each councillor. So just bring a point that we are well within what everybody else is.
Of course, Shunya, the municipality of Shunya, this is their permanent residence. They have many residents that live along the lake that are only there in the summer.
Well, I can only use
That's right.
what's the
No,
numbers are
you're
here. I
right.
can't do anything else
I know.
except for what is provided.
Of course, many of their non-permanent residents are now becoming permanent residents along the lake. So, and again, this is the old statistics, so, but you're right. Okay, any other comment on those numbers? Okay, under new business, Councillor Viss.
Yes, I have new and old business, I guess. So I'll start with the old portion of the new business. We had the second email saying that we had some more pinhole leaks again in the condenser. And I think Bernie and I will recall this when it's very similar to a bulk tank. And we had a bulk tank that started to spring little pinhole leaks. And I don't know how many holes we cut in there trying to repair it. And finally we said, what a waste of money. We got rid of it. So my point here is we need to take a look at this. There's even the report said that they were happy with the work that was done there. Who knows how long that will last, or will we have new pinholes? My point, the new part is here. How long would it take to order a new chiller or condenser? And that's the first question. The second is, if we don't require it or have to order it, it may not be till January, so it'd be in the new budget. So my suggestion to this council is that we have staff better have a look at this and see how long it takes, how ready available they are, and we better get this stuff ordered. And that's the new portion of my.
Chris?
So through the chair to Councillor Viss, you have covered old and new with that request. We just finished our grant application yesterday, which was submitted yesterday for the, Wayne knows the catchphrase, stream upgrade. The infrastructure requirement to eliminate the leak situation that you have addressed is 14 to 16 weeks away for about $307,000. That's in a grant application. So if you would like to bring a report for next council meeting saying we approve, put your hands up, 307,000, we are still 14 to 16 weeks away.
14.6, so we're into new year.
So, and when would you, with this grant, when would you be notified if we're successful, possibly?
Through the chair, I'll let Wayne speak to that.
The CSRIF is the name of the grant, and they didn't indicate when they're going to be providing any awards. But the chiller, the condenser itself is 312,000, and the reconfiguration of the chiller is 106,000, so it's 418. What we're looking at.
Almost 500,000.
Yeah, so we did apply for those parts, and we don't know when they're awarding or not. You know, it's not specified by that outfit. But in any event, we in our project schedule in our application, we said we want to do it starting on May 5th when the place is shut down. You know, to get it rolling. We actually have to order this thing in the beginning of March.
Yep.
So you know, provincial government, if they want people to get something done in 2025 with the ice rinks, they gotta approve this stuff over Christmas and let you know in January or February what's going on.
So through the chair, just to finish off that, it is going to be recorded as capital project 1 in the budget for Norwest. Okay, and this funding application is in. The biggest problem that occurred in August was the heat we were fighting with the plant running wide open at high pressures, trying to keep
We're
that
so
plant.
warm in August still.
We've seen a dramatic trend down in our plant on the hour meter, so we're trending down as it gets cooler, and that's where we assume less liability, I guess, so to speak, that these pinhole leaks are going to occur. We did have a good look in it last time we were in there, and then we did up the pressure and just see if anything else kind of stood out. We're confident when the temperature comes down and the plant's working 2 to 3 hours a day that we can get it through. This is very similar to 5 years ago what we did, and we ended up doing a repair at Christmas. We took the plant out of operation, opened the doors, and did this chiller that's installed currently. So things can happen. Problem is 14 weeks. If you guys told me tomorrow before we get the piece.
Answer this.
Yes, just to come back on that, in the last report that we received, the funding is only 50%, so you're looking at $200,000. So if the thing shuts right down, goodbye for the rest of the season. Where's your $200,000 look compared to all the loss of income for the rest of the season? That's my point. I thought if we get it ordered, should something happen, well, at least we've got it. Now, if we have to wait that long to get it, well, your season is done.
Yeah, through the chair, the ordering of the part is the timing. It's going to take 3 to 5 days to switch it out. That's around the clock. There's more than likely we're losing the ice anyways.
That's all the news I have. I don't know where council wants to go with that, but anyway, I think we need to look at that. It's my own opinion, so.
Okay. Any other news, old and new? No. Counselor Calvert,
No, nothing at this time.
Counselor Campoff? No, Counselor Peacock?
Yes, thank you. Just a kudos to the Evergreen Pharmacy and their new building there up and running, and appreciate the fact that they are having the flu and COVID shots
shots are
available to
there,
people.
Both, at both pharmacies, yes.
Yes, yeah, so good for them. Thank you very much to their efforts there.
Anything else? No? Okay. Oh, I don't know if you're allowed new business.
I was last time.
Okay, all right, you twisted my arm.
No, there's something I wanted to distribute that we received yesterday. It's a notice about a nurse practitioner event on November 4th. You want to go down there and see what's going on?
Miss Caitlin Bridge. So we are going there. Caitlin Bridge is a nurse practitioner that will be joining the Quebec and Norwest Health Community Center. She will be there Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And if you want to become part of that, you have to register with I will let you.
Right. Now, this notice came out without the additional information that you just mentioned. So just came out yesterday, so we were wondering, well, what does this mean? Is this someone who's going to be working there full time, 5 days a week, serving the public? And we did have a call in there today, and whoever was on the other line said that that's the idea, 8:30 to 4:30. The current KB clients can book. But that's still kind of sketchy.
Yes.
So we need to, flesh out what's happening here. Ideally, we were looking for that, would be to have a nurse practitioner stationed there all the time. And you could be a patient, and that's where you'd go for your primary care. Now, that's what sounds like what's happening, but want to get further clarification.
I know I've received calls from a few people that have said they tried to book an appointment previous, just even for the walk-in clinic, and were told no, because they're not on the list with the Thunder Bay site. So what they have to do is call the Thunder Bay site, get on their list.
Yeah, it could be that you call the NWCHC and say, I'd like to become a patient of your clinic, and they might say, okay, well, our waiting list currently is 27 months or something. I don't know.
I don't know either, but yes.
We put something like come together and then better for the next month for our residents or something.
Yeah.
They usually do it. But they usually are asked them if they would do something.
Yeah,
So it'd be nice, like, it's nice for us to know, but.
That's
I think
right.
People out there would know,
Yeah.
and if we can get something out in the newsletter.
We can communicate with the NWCHC and ask them to put some further information out there. So that-
Sure, they will put that in the newsletter
Yes.
too, but I would like clarification for the people in the north, in Thunder, Oliver Papoons, that if they do want to you make an appointment with this nurse practitioner, what's the process? Because the two ladies that called me said, I called there and they said no. But they're a resident of the township, so what is the process? Do they have to call the city, their location in the city first, get on the list and then they're gonna get attention? I
There's-
would like that
Well, you
clarified.
you have to differentiate between walk-in and being on the roster of the place, right?
Yeah,
When you're on the roster, the idea is instead of going into Simpson Street, you can
Yeah.
just go there. And now there's somebody there that can take the rostered patients. But walk-in, you can go there right now. You don't have to be a part of
I don't
their
know.
outfit.
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
know.
think that walk-in, you can just walk in, but maybe you have to be rostered too.
I
I'm
have
not
no
sure.
idea. That's why I'd like to have clarification.
Yeah, cause it,
Oh, excuse me, Donna? Peacock, Counselor Peacock?
Thank you. We are fortunate to have a nurse practitioner at that clinic, and on a walk-in clinic day, if you aren't in that door with your name on the list right away, then you just get turned away. So it's unfortunate that we're in that situation as far as our healthcare system, but it's great if they have an additional person coming as a nurse practitioner, because it's definitely needed. But that's how it worked. I had to contact the Norwest and have our name put on the list, and then you're kind of screened, if you like, for lack of a better word, to become one of their patients, and then go from there.
Okay, so we'll get clarification from them, just so we can put that in the newsletter so that, not everybody, if you don't know, you get all confused when someone says, no, you can't come here.
yeah, even, like I say, even, I know if I go to my own doctors, they have the walk-in clinics, you have to be a patient.
That's right.
Right before you can even, it's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
It can't just be random.
No, the doctor I had previously, I had the different one for the last 5 years, but previous to that, there was a walk-in clinic right in the big building, and there were 6 or 8 doctors there, so you could walk in and take part in the walk-in clinic, but only if your doctor was in that building. So this may be the same thing, so I'd like it clarified with them, and we could put it in the newsletter. Everybody, okay. Perfect. All righty. Now no business from anyone. I would like to thank you all for attending this afternoon. We're going to have a 10-minute break while we resolve into going into closed session. We have a resolution moved and seconded to go into closed session, the time being 10:22 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 10:22 a.m. p.m. Oh, well, now you know that I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. I apologize. I've done this before. I'm always behind ahead. Thank you for coming this morning.